Jeff Sessions has decided to rescind an Obama-era memo that directed federal prosecutors to not prioritize prosecuting states or individuals where marijuana has been legalized for recreational use.
Obama did the right thing. He said, look, 28 states have legalized medical marijuana. Now, 8 states, including District of Columbia, have legalized recreational marijuana. California just started this year, so a couple of days ago, with legal recreational marijuana. It is going to be a $7 billion market according to estimates, and $1 billion of tax money. So as I said earlier in the week, it's almost done deal now. Once California creates that kind of revenue and the companies start coming in, it's over. And it's already an issue in Colorado, and now Republicans are fighting back because people are making money off of it. So that's why Sessions is in a panic. He wants to reverse the Obama ruling, which said don't mess with the local state laws. Now, conservatives should be thrilled about that because they, especially Sessions, he's been saying his whole career, states' rights. Alabama has a right to be bad to black people. States' rights, right? Now, when the states say, okay, well, if you want to take away civil rights from African Americans, which historically Alabama and many other states did, well, I'd like to have the right to legalize medical or recreational marijuana. And Sessions goes, states' rights? I was just kidding. No, I don't give a damn about your states' rights. No, I'm going to tell the prosecutors that they can go after you. Why? Because of quotes like this. Sessions said, good people don't smoke marijuana.
Right.
Oh, please.
As if Jeff Sessions is the arbiter of good people. The decider of who's good and who's not good.
If he was the decider of who's good or bad among elves, okay, that's a little bit more understandable.
Not even that. Not even that. He wouldn't know a good person if he was in a room full of Mother Teresa's. Like, he has no idea what a good person is because he is deplorable himself. Now, look, the states' rights argument is always conveniently used by the right wing when it has to do with issues that they care about, right? But when it comes to issues that they don't care about, states' rights don't matter. Federal law trumps state law. That's all they care about. But in this case, think about the fact that he already reneged on what he had promised during his confirmation hearings. During the confirmation hearings, senators had asked him, okay, do you plan on going after marijuana? Is that a priority of yours? And he said, no, I'm gonna leave that issue alone. He lied because obviously he's not leaving that issue alone, and he is giving federal prosecutors the ability to go after states that have legalized marijuana for recreational use. Now, what about states that legalized it for medicinal use? Are they going to leave those states alone? They won't promise that. They won't promise that they won't go after states that have legalized it for medicinal use. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of what this all means. Let's go to graphic 59. Sessions' new stance will let federal prosecutors decide how aggressively to enforce longstanding federal law prohibiting marijuana. Let's go to graphic 61. In deciding which marijuana activities to prosecute under these laws with the department's finite resources, prosecutors should follow the well-established principles that govern all federal prosecutions by considering the seriousness of the crime and its impact on the community. So I would argue that the bigger crime is locking people up and putting them away for years based on a drug that you can't overdose on, based on a drug that has been proven time and time again is more safe than alcohol is, more safe than tobacco is. I would argue that's the real crime there, using taxpayer money to go after and prosecute individuals for possession or sale of this, in my opinion, relatively harmless drug.
Yeah. Well, look, we did this. We did it during prohibition. We put people in jail for drinking a beer. Now it sounds preposterous. And in a couple of years, the idea, and for a lot of us already it sounds preposterous, but for almost everyone, the idea of putting people in prison because they smoked a joint will seem insane. Just as it seems insane now for, oh, you had a Budweiser. That is terrible and egregious. Throw him in jail for years and years. Can you imagine spending years in jail? And yes, it happens. We've covered cases where people got a life sentence for smoking pot. Now, yeah, it was that there were other offenses earlier than that, etc. But yes, the offense that sent them to prison for life was smoking pot. This is all insane. And just when you thought we're on the precipice of getting beyond it, 64% of Americans think that marijuana should be legalized. 28 states is obviously the majority of states. Sessions and Trump coming in going, no, we don't want you to do anything sane. We're gonna bring insanity back in vogue.
I mean, this is crazy. And you gotta keep in mind that it's not just California, not just Colorado or Washington State that have legalized marijuana for recreational use. We now have 8 states that have legalized, and the District of Columbia, that have legalized it for recreational use. In addition to all the other states that have legalized it for medicinal use, California's sale of marijuana is expected to bring in $1 billion annually in tax revenue within the next several years. I only mention that because we have a situation now in some states where you legalize it, you closely and carefully regulate it to ensure that it doesn't end up in the hands of kids, which, by the way, during the prohibition, of course, teenagers get it all the time. It's in the black market, it's very easy to get. But if you regulate it closely and you tax it, you actually bring money in instead of waste taxpayer money in imprisoning people for marijuana possession. Jeff Sessions is incredibly backwards when it comes to this issue, when it comes to a number of issues. And the fact that he's prioritizing something like this, I think says a lot about him and what he's planning on accomplishing as Attorney General.
Accomplishing.
Yeah.
Okay, last couple of things here. Congress passed a law saying don't mess with the states that legalize it for medical purposes. And Sessions is like, that's like your opinion, man. No, you're the Attorney General, you're supposed to enforce the laws. Okay, I think it's crazy for you to go and try to mess with the states that pass it for recreational purposes, but you're literally not allowed to do it for the states that did it for medical purposes. He's like, I don't care. Rule of law, what's that? Did we run on the rule of law? Just kidding. And then if you never heard this story, it's amazing. To give you a sense of how bad a guy Jeff Sessions is, he once joked, I used to like the Klan, but then I found out they smoke pot. So funny, like lynching black people, not so bad. Ooh, smoking pot, that's pretty bad.
No, and he thinks he's the arbiter of good people, good or bad people.
Yeah, because good people don't smoke marijuana. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast, you could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.